Grandma, I'm hungry. What's for lunch?
It was just before noon when my daughter, Emily, returned home with her son, Noah, for the birth of her second child. Noah, waving his hands excitedly, looked so adorable, and I answered with a warm smile. We're having Emily's favorite, omelet rice for lunch. Do you like it too, Noah?
Yeah, I love omelet rice.
Noah spun around, with his arms raised in a cheer. Just then, a loud crash came from the direction of the cupboard. Emily. When I rushed towards the sound, I found Emily leaning tiredly against a table, seemingly exhausted. Are you okay? As I stepped closer to support Emily, I saw something incredible happen in front of me. A small shadow moved quickly towards Emily and kicked her in the stomach with great force. What?
Cough, cough.
Emily doubled over in pain, and the small shadow stood defiantly in front of her. Noah. Shockingly, the small shadow that had kicked Emily was Noah. I couldn't believe my eyes for a moment, and when I got back to myself, I told Noah off. Hey, Noah, what are you doing to your mom? Emily, are you okay? I immediately went to Emily's side and whispered to her.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
For some reason, Emily kept apologizing desperately. Seeing the usually sweet and honest Noah kick his mother in the stomach was a massive shock to me. My husband, Jack, approached with a fierce look, having witnessed the whole scene.
Noah, I'm not mad, but explain why you did that.
Noah looked confused and said, What? It's discipline. Discipline. What does that mean? I am Kate Jones, supporting my husband, Jack, for 35 years, and this year, I finally reached my 60th birthday. We have one child, our 31-year-old daughter, Emily. I've dedicated my life to homemaking, focusing on household chores, and raising our child. Even though Jack worked, he always made time for Emily on weekends and before bedtime. Emily was the daughter we always wished for, and we showered her with all the love we could from the moment she was in the womb. Especially Jack, who had always wanted a daughter since we got married, lavished her with love. He gave her everything she wanted, from clothes and toys to snacks. And I later found out he had secretly taken her to arcades and shopping malls. Emily grew up honest and straightforward, without a rebellious phase, blooming like a sunflower with a bright and cheerful smile. She married at 28 and lived with her husband, Sam, helping to manage the family-owned restaurant in Sam's hometown. I had only met Sam's parents during the engagement and wedding, so our interactions were minimal. Sam struck me as serious but stubborn, yet the easygoing Emily seemed to soften his edges. We considered Emily our little girl, so we hoped to welcome Sam into our family rather than send her away. However, Emily spent days convincing us, pleading daily about Sam, until we finally agreed to let her marry and move out. After the wedding, Emily called us daily for a while.
Dad, today I made a delicious beef and potato stew.
I knew it, Emily. Emily's beef and potato stew is fantastic. The texture is just irresistible. Sam, he's a lucky man to be able to eat Emily's delicious homemade meals every day.
But those carefree exchanges didn't last long, as the calls became less frequent, from every other day to once a week, then to once a month. At first, Emily seemed overjoyed, but as the number of phone calls decreased, she began to waver, saying that the restaurant is busy. Even when Jack tried every trick to keep the conversation going, he ended up getting cut off. When I messaged Emily, it was rare to get an immediate reply, and sometimes I didn't get a response at all, which was worrying. The birth of our grandson, Noah, was also announced via message. However, it wasn't until Noah turned 1 that Jack and I begged her over and over again and got to see our long-awaited grandson. And after that they only visited our house once or twice a year. Even though we asked Emily to come back more often, her reluctance was puzzling, and before we knew it, Noah was old enough to start elementary school. Thus, we hardly heard about Emily and her family's situation, and had no clue about their lives. Jack tried calling several times but lamented that he could never get through. One evening, just as we finished dinner, the phone rang. "Hello."
Hi, Mom. Is now a good time?
"Yes, it's fine." It was Emily's first call in 6 months. Seeing my surprise, Jack glanced over, so I switched to speakerphone so he could hear too.
I'm about to give birth soon and was wondering if I could come home. Would that be a bother?
"What? Emily, when did you get pregnant?" Jack stood up abruptly, shocked by my question.
Really, Emily?
Oh, didn't I mention? The due date is the 23rd.
We hadn't heard it.
Really? Sorry. But yeah, I got pregnant. I've already chosen a hospital for a maternity visit back home and have gone for a few checkups. Sorry, it ended up being after the fact.
Although it should have been happy news, Emily's voice sounded gloomy and hesitant.
So, is it okay? I know Dad and you are busy, and I'm sorry to bother you.
Emily seemed more concerned about imposing on us by coming back than her impending childbirth.
A bother. You're always welcome here.
Before I could respond, Jack eagerly assured her. "That's right. We're always waiting for you and Noah to visit."
Thank you. Then I'll be in your care?
Emily spoke softly and then hung up.
Emily.
The call ended so abruptly that Jack kept calling her name into the phone, but all we got was the dial tone.
Is Emily okay?
Jack gripped the phone tightly, whispering as if talking to Emily. Emily sounded off, didn't she?
Yeah, I've never heard her sound so down.
Our joy at hearing our daughter's voice was overshadowed by concern for her unusually downcast demeanor. The following week, Emily came home with Noah. We went to the station early in the morning, eagerly awaiting their arrival. Emily appeared from the ticket gate, pulling Noah's hand.
Emily, Noah.
Jack rushed towards them and waved his hands enthusiastically.
Mommy, who's that man?
Noah noticed Jack, but he didn't remember because he hadn't seen Jack for over 3 years.
He's my dad and your grandpa.
Emily waved at us with an apologetic look on her face. As they came through the gate, Jack greeted them with a forced smile, hiding his disappointment at not being recognized by Noah.
Emily, Noah, have you been well?
Dad.
Emily seemed to grasp the situation from Jack's expression, tensing up as she whispered something to Noah. After hearing Emily's words, Noah said with a sharp look of mission,
Grandpa and Grandma, I'll be in your care for a while.
Of course, you're our family, so feel free to lean on us all you want.
It was clear Emily had instructed Noah to say this, so Jack answered in a reassuring tone. It saddened me to think that Emily had become so considerate of us, her parents, without us knowing. Noah, like Emily when she was little, seems to have a spoiled personality, begging Emily to praise him. Emily gently stroked Noah's head while she rubbed her stomach and sighed. Anyway, you must be exhausted. It's a long journey.
No, I'm okay.
Yet, Emily's complexion was pale, and she looked even thinner than the last time we saw her. Emily, have you lost weight? Are you eating properly?
Yes.
Emily averted her eyes and began to rub her arms as if to protect herself. With Emily avoiding eye contact and looking downcast, I grew suspicious. Noticing our daughter's odd behavior, Jack suddenly became serious and said,
You've come back home after so long. Now's the time to really lean on us.
Yeah, thank you, Dad.
But Emily's response was hesitant, causing Jack and me to exchange puzzled glances. When we got home and I was about to make some herbal tea to take a break, Emily came into the kitchen and said, I'll help you. Emily, you should rest.
I can help you. I am okay.
Emily forcefully grabbed a kitchen towel and began wiping the dining table, sweat forming on her forehead. You were a very spoiled girl. What happened all of a sudden? She had never once talked back to me, but now she seemed like a different person, turning her back to me.
It's nothing. I've just come to understand the challenges of being a mom.
While meticulously wiping the table, Emily spoke calmly, but she looked so frail I had to force her to lie down in bed.
Mom, I am okay.
Emily was lying down and saying in a weak voice, and I was worried about her. We're taking care of Noah, so sleep for a while.
I am sorry.
Emily used to be so bright, like a sunflower, but now she was trembling and seemed so small and scared. It's not I'm sorry. It's thank you, right?
Yay, thank you, Mom.
I continued to gently and slowly rub Emily's shoulder. She must have been so tired that she fell asleep in less than 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Noah, overflowing with energy, played with toy trains with Jack. I smiled and spoke to the two who were playing. Put it away when you're done playing.
Okay.
Noah responded energetically, raising his hand.
It's very good of you to answer well, Noah.
Noah is such an honest and good boy as Emily. I smiled, left Noah in Jack's care, and decided to go grocery shopping to prepare lunch. Today, I plan to make Emily's favorite omelet rice, trying to shake off the nagging anxiety. When I returned from shopping and it was time for lunch, Emily had just woken up.
Did I sleep a lot?
Yeah, you slept soundly.
What should I do?
For some reason, Her face turned even paler, showing a frightened expression. Is something wrong?
No, I need to start making lunch soon.
Without hearing me stop her, Emily went hauntingly to the cupboard. Her behavior was more suspicious than I had ever seen, filling me with an increasing sense of dread. Just then, Jack and Noah, tired of playing and hungry, came.
Grandma, I'm hungry. What's for lunch?
Noah's flailing hands were endearing, and I answered with a smile. We're having Emily's favorite, omelet rice for lunch. Do you like it too, Noah?
Yeah, I love omelet rice.
Noah spun around with his arms raised in a cheer. At that moment, a loud crash came from the cupboard. Emily. Rushing over, it seemed Emily hadn't fully recovered, as she was slumped over, leaning on the table. Are you okay? As I stepped closer to support Emily, I saw something incredible happen in front of me. A small shadow moved incredibly fast towards Emily and kicked her in the stomach with great force. What?
Cough, cough.
Emily crumpled to the ground, with a small shadow standing defiantly in front of her. Noah. Shockingly, the small shadow that had kicked Emily was Noah. I couldn't believe my eyes for a moment, and when I got back to myself, I told Noah off. Hey, Noah, what are you doing to your mom? Emily, are you okay? I immediately went to Emily's side and whispered to her.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
For some reason, Emily kept apologizing desperately. Seeing the usually sweet and honest Noah kick his mother in the stomach was a massive shock to me. Jack, having witnessed the whole scene, approached with a fierce look.
Noah, I'm not mad, but explain why you did that.
Jack was trying to remain as calm as possible, but it was clear he was struggling to contain his anger, his fists clenched. However, Noah looked bewildered.
What? It's discipline?
Discipline. I didn't understand what he meant, but my first thought was, first, we need to help Emily. Emily. Supporting Emily, whose gaze was unfocused, I looked into her eyes. Emily, what's wrong? You're acting strange. At my words, Emily flinched and then collapsed to the floor. Emily, are you okay? Emily continued to breathe heavily while clutching her stomach. Emily. Gently touching Emily's back, my warmth seemed to reassure her, and her breathing slowly became more stable. Then the warmth of my hand seemed to make Emily's breathing calm little by little. I gently stroked Emily's back and watched Jack and his grandson. Noah was a good and obedient child, and I felt there must be some reason behind his actions.
What's going on, Noah?
With his face turning red and looking nothing like the person who had just been playing with Noah, Jack's angry expression made Noah look like he was about to cry.
But Daddy said.
At Noah's softly spoken words, Jack's eyebrows twitched. In front of Jack, who looked like a demon, Noah finally sobbed and continued his words.
Daddy said, this is how to discipline Mommy.
What do you mean?
When Daddy's not around and Mommy makes a mistake, he told me to discipline her.
Noah managed to say between hiccups.
If I don't, Mommy gets in more trouble.
That's unbelievable.
Then Emily, coughing, managed to squeeze out her words.
It's not Noah's fault. If we don't do this, Noah gets hit by Sam.
With those words, the awful truth I had suspected became clear. You've endured so much. Imagining Emily enduring Sam's treatment alone, without anyone to turn to, brought tears to my eyes.
I've been watched by Sam all this time. I couldn't say anything until now.
Emily also started crying heavily. Emily, as well as Noah, and the baby will not be happy with Sam.
Your mom's right. We can't forgive what he's done to our precious daughter.
Emily's tears didn't stop, and Jack's words seemed to finally allow her to voice her true feelings.
Dad, Mom, I want to cut ties with Sam.
That's brave of you to say.
Actually, I've been carrying a divorce petition that I signed, thinking of divorcing someday.
When Emily revealed she had brought it even now, Jack immediately said,
Let's call Sam over right now.
But will he come?
Sam always prioritized the restaurant and never listened to Emily, so she looked doubtful. Jack called Sam with a firm tone.
Sam, come to our house right now.
I couldn't hear Sam's voice on the phone, but Jack's voice made Sam look reluctant.
Do you understand what will happen if you don't?
Jack's forehead veins stood out, and his face turned red from the unfamiliar effort.
We'll talk more when you get here.
After ending the call, Jack looked frustrated. Are you okay?
Yeah. I just need some water and a little rest.
I passed the water to him, and he drank it all in one gulp, holding his head. After drinking the water, Jack felt exhausted and staggered down on the sofa. Noah sat quietly next to Emily, who still couldn't stand up. I clenched my teeth, bracing for what might happen next. Hours later, Sam arrived, his hair messy and dressed carelessly, with a sulky attitude.
Seriously, I have work, and you call me over suddenly.
Jack, slightly recovered, spoke up at Sam's attitude, which suggested he might attack Emily if we weren't watching.
How could you do this to our precious daughter?
Sam, sensing something, responded noncommittally and glared at Noah. Noah stood protectively in front of Emily, spreading his small body as wide as he could.
I disciplined Mommy in place of Daddy, so don't be mad at her anymore.
As Sam slowly moved towards Emily and Noah, Jack stood in front of them.
If you take one more step, I won't hold back.
Jack's voice, deep and resonant from his core, made Sam shake his head in frustration.
All of you painting me as the villain, disciplining a poor wife, what's wrong with that?
Sam, showing no remorse, glared at Jack with muddy eyes.
That's why I hated spoiled princesses. Do you have any idea how much I've hurt my hands educating this worthless wife?
While revealing his abuse of Emily without a shred of guilt, Sam remained utterly unapologetic. Standing next to Jack, I couldn't contain my anger any longer and said, Emily is pregnant. What if something happened to the baby? Even if she weren't, abusing your wife is despicable.
Despicable, huh? It's Emily who's really despicable here, being so careless with housework and parenting.
Sam started scratching his head and saying something outrageous.
Lately, I've been letting Noah do the disciplining. Just like his mother, he's completely inept.
He casually mentioned abusing Noah if he didn't discipline properly, then taking it out even more violently on Emily, as if discussing tomorrow's weather.
That's absolutely unforgivable.
Jack screamed, realizing the unimaginable hardships our dear daughter had been silently bearing.
Am I really that bad? I was raised this way, and making a fuss about this seems ridiculous.
Sam revealed, apparently, his parents were complicit in his treatment of Emily.
Give me a break. It's ridiculous that I'm being blamed here.
Sam bit back, showing no signs of remorse and acting as if he was the victim.
You thought I was listening silently.
Finally, Jack's patience snapped. He disappeared into another room and returned with several documents.
I don't care what happens in your family, but you're getting divorced from Emily.
I thrust a sheet of paper at Sam. Sam looked at the document, raising his eyebrows slightly. The document Jack pushed towards him was the divorce petition signed by Emily. Before Sam arrived, Jack had taken custody of the divorce papers from Emily.
Fine, I don't mind divorcing Emily.
Sam quickly signed the divorce papers and handed them back to Jack. Jack secured the signed divorce petition and prepared more documents.
Additionally, considering Emily will need support, I want back all the money I invested in your parents' restaurant.
With that, he handed over another document, causing Sam to gasp and collapse to the ground. The second document was a financial support agreement signed by Jack. The document stated the total amount of money that Jack had helped so far, and that he might have to make a lump sum repayment depending on his wishes. Since Jack is the executive of a large company, he has given considerable support to Sam's parents' restaurant, which amounts to $100,000. Sam finally spoke after a moment of slumping on his back.
I can't give up Noah as the heir, and there's no way I can repay that money.
There's no way we'd let you off that easy.
Do you have no compassion? I'm the man your precious daughter loved.
I supported Jack because Sam was so selfish. After agreeing so readily to divorce Emily, you expect compassion and love.
What? You don't care what happens to me, Emily?
Sam desperately looked to Emily for support, turning his anger towards her. But protected by us, Emily confidently replied,
I don't care what happens to you. As long as I have Noah and the baby, I'll be happy.
So that's how it is.
Realizing there was nothing he could do, Sam seemed to lose all spirit, now that the divorce was finalized. Following the divorce, Sam's parents' restaurant, having lost Jack's financial support, faced severe financial difficulties. To save the failing business, Sam accumulated debt, but the business ultimately failed spectacularly. Rumors of Sam's abuse towards Emily and Noah spread, and he was eventually ousted from his home. Sam, now labeled as an abusive man, moved far from his hometown and worked tirelessly in a remote factory to repay his debts. Then Emily and Noah, no longer with Sam, lived with us. On a bright, clear autumn day, the cheerful cries of a newborn filled the hospital room.
How is it, Emily?
As usual, Jack charged towards Emily, causing me to hastily calm him down. Dear, you'll startle the newborn baby with that enthusiasm.
Oh, my apologies.
As if slamming on the brakes, Jack came to a sudden stop in front of Emily and flashed a smile as soft as melted ice cream.
You look just like Emily, a beautiful girl.
Hee, thank you.
Emily smiled softly, as if the evil had fallen. That smile was indeed the full bloom of sunflowers we knew Emily could bring to life.
Mommy, Mommy.
Noah, who had been fidgety yet patiently waiting, approached Emily with joy.
Noah, you're going to be a big brother starting today. Say hello, will you?
The baby stopped crying and stared intently at Noah's big, round eyes.
I'm your big brother.
As if responding, the baby tightly grasped Noah's cautiously extended hand and seemed to smile. Oh, how adorable! Noah, gripping the baby's hand in return, immediately put on a determined, big brotherly expression.
Have you decided on a name for her?
Jack asked Emily with a doting smile.
Yes. I want her to have a life filled with brightness and joy, so I thought we'd name her Claire.
Emily's words resonated deeply within me. Claire, thank you for being born safely. My spontaneous words made both Jack and Emily nod quietly with moist eyes. Emily and her family were discharged from the hospital safely, and our home became livelier in an instant. Fortunately, Emily has no physical scars left, and the newborn Claire is just as shiny and bright as her name.